Yeah, you are
Okay.
audible.
Hi, so thanks everyone for joining the call. We'll be starting. There were a couple of issues that we are facing right now, so I'll go ahead by dropping this meeting in chat so that next all there's an item we discussing, and also can drop your name. So yeah, this is weekly dev meeting that happens every Wednesday, and we talk about your roadmap and all the changes that are being done by contributors. And today we have a couple of items that we'll be going through. We have some of the standing agenda items like NetCCL and Michael 1-2. Sudhanshu and Amit are on the call, and so is Matthew. If I'm not wrong, I'll actually take a look. Yeah, Matthew is there. So can any one of you take this single agenda item and discuss about it, either Matthew or migration folks like Amit or Sudhanshu?
Yep.
Matthew, I think, okay.
Should be okay now.
Yeah.
So here I will talk about the Meshery CTL command update. Nothing really new to give here, but there's that Google Sheet where you can follow all available command in Meshery CTL. Basically, what we have to do here is to check every command and subcommand available, and we will add some end-to-end test on them. I've started something on my end to validate that. For example, here for the system command, perhaps it's a little too small. So here for the system command, start subcommand, I will add some test to validate that everything that we wanted is happening when we run that this command is working. So this is a work in progress. So if people want to contribute, just reach out in Slack, and I will share with you what is the state and what we want to achieve. So that's it for today for that.
Thanks a lot, Matthew. So anyone who would want to, work in this area, they can take a look and, be part of it. So I'll go ahead by also sharing the link for the spreadsheet.
Yep.
Thank you, Matthew. Next up, Amit or Sudhanshu can, yeah.
So we are migrating the material version 4 to material version 5. This MUI was we are using in the Meshery UI. So now status of this migration was all of this component has merged. Only the one the RGSF was left. In the previous call, the number of somewhere like the 100 something file we are using this material for component. Now only the RJSF component, like somewhere around 15 file we are only using this material for component. So so we are nearly end of this migration. Like if we might merge this RJSF, then we are all done with this migration. And the one issue with this RJSF component that in the Meshery extension, we use the different version of this MUI and the different version of in the Meshery UI also the different version. So it creates something like this mess in the Meshery extension. So that's why this RJSF took some time to get it done.
So if we like This is the only component that's not left. Like after we get done with the RGSF components, we are
Yeah.
done with MUI.
Yeah. And also the SMI results and the connection wizard that we had previously on the Meshery. So we removed all of the code of these two pages, and because we are not migrating those components and those are deprecated, so we removed those components.
So like apart from this, like what's this status on extensions? Like, because some extensions might be using MUI,
Yeah,
like the canvas extension, like is it completely migrated also there?
no, we are not tracking and we not started to migrating the Meshery extension code to the MUI version 5.
No, like without them, it would be issue. Like then we can't completely remove MUI from Meshery because they share it.
Oh, okay.
We have to like also migrate them, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
I
then
think
we,
for
Mhm.
like for this RGSF, like I like shared something like since it was working fine from Meshery because yeah, but in Canvas we use that config tooltips. So I just shared that. Can you like inspect the changes? Like I think there was some font issue. I recently like pushed some changes. So I think there should be some like other overriding styles. Can if you can share the like from the inspect like what are the styles which are getting override or like where the issues are, so I can like track directly from Mishri UI.
yeah, I will share.
So yeah.
And yeah, it makes sense that we should have to upgrade the Messery extension canvas for in the material version file, because both we can't remove this material for completely from the Messery UI because it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the main wrapping to the like app.js we can't remove.
yeah, yeah. These all are the update regarding this migration of the material.
Yeah, thank you, Amit. So yeah, and next up I have this test plan. So I'll just simply be taking a link and we'll share, like if you want to take a look, you can. So there's also point 9 roadmap, which Sangram, who is one of the maintainers, leads and is also on the call. And basically, if you want to be part of it, you can show your interest. So go take a look. Let's get started with the topics. And the first one is from Kapil. And Lee sends his regrets he will not be able to join, but Sangram is on the call, and hopefully other members are too. So Kapil, like, are you all set to share your update and the
Yeah,
discussion that you wanted to have? Please.
yep. Are you able to hear me? That's the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let me just share my screen then. Yes, and I should share my full screen. Hey, might look a little bit crazy. Good. Okay, we should be on a local Meshery server now. You're all on my browser now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, what I've identified is, so the goal I'm working towards is I want to get some JSON to work and some basic metrics to come in on this side. One of the issues I'm facing is the state that is being managed, the global state and the state within the components is frequently getting messed up with one another. For example, let's just try and connect a Prometheus instance. I have that running locally. So now with this, what happened is the data that the component got when I was adding it. Let me just zoom in if you guys are not able to see. See if I can zoom in directly. I guess I'm not able to make it bigger. Or maybe I can show this in code. Basically, what's happening is we are hoping or say optimistically looking for a connection ID and connection name in case of a Prometheus connection when it's being made, and actually it's not there. So it's not coming when you're initially adding. So then any operations that we do here on the browser with this Prometheus, maybe clicking on it or trying to say delete it, all of those would like kind of, okay, this one works, but it won't actually delete. And apart from that, one of the things that I'm not able to understand is this value, the connection ID, and the so if I refresh this page, now the connection ID will get set properly. So if I give it a refresh, then it's all gonna be getting set because the component did update somehow brings in the connection ID and connection name. So looking in the Prometheus components, component did update method, or I think component did mount one. Let me check. Component did, okay, maybe wrong. Let's see, let's see where that one is. Okay. Wrong control. Yeah. So this one is bringing in the connection ID, and but the connection ID does not exist in the API response. So when we mount this and call this like do a result of this, this one is not returning anything. The server is returning like nothing on this get. It's just returning some HTML for it, but it's not returning any connection ID. So what I needed help on was if somebody knows like how this connection IDs or names are to be managed. Basically, the things that it will solve for me is once I get the connection ID here, so when I send in a, board, so when I just copy over a board from say some place, let's just copy over a dashboard for Grafana. So in the first go, it's just not going to be able to connect to that Prometheus when I send it because the connection ID wasn't there. So it will just not be able to connect with the Prometheus. Then once the ID is there, the connection would work. Parsing is still failing, but I'll work on that parsing on the server side. Now, from UI folks, what I need help on is understanding how and where this connection ID is expected to come from. Data when adding. So this is the code line. The file is Prometheus component JS and line number is 192 because I've added this console myself, so it should be 192 for you guys.
So like you're mentioning that this API is expecting a connection ID, right? But from the
I
URL
don't
you are
think it is expecting a connection ID because the component in mount method that we saw that does not kind of look for it. There is nothing here which is assigning the connection ID. It's going for a submit Prometheus configuration, but this method does not play with the like connection ID. It cares only about the URL. If I go to this method, I'm not able to get to the definition of this. Let me just look for it. Yeah, here it is. So when it gets the details, it's just trying to set the, I guess, only the URL. Yeah. Update Prometheus config, only the URL and selected Prometheus board configs. So board is what you put in that JSON thing. But here it's only working with the URL and the API is not returning the connection ID.
okay. So like in overall, like connection ID is not required by the API, but we are passing that connection ID, right?
Exactly.
Setting the
And
Prometheus
वो आ भी रहा है. Problem is that eventually when I refresh this, it magically appears. Then the connection ID is not empty anymore and it just gets populated. Now in the props, the connection ID is populated. And I've tried to find exactly where it's coming from so I can make it so that it's always like available. Even when the first time when connection is added, this Prometheus connection is added, then I can make something that will just bring this connection ID in the first go.
So like copy like all of these things like the Grafana connections, Prometheus, and even the Kubernetes one, all of these are like there's this core construct of connection. So all of these are treated as that connection. So like each of these connections have an associated state machines in the server side which manage their life cycle, like what happens when you do the transitions and everything. And each of that depends on that unique connection ID. So that's used to like do those transitions or any way you want to manage the life cycle of the connection. So even if like if you don't need like if right now you don't need the connection ID on maybe on UI or any place, but if you need to like do more with those connections, you would end up needing that connection ID. So what I think is right now the issue is probably with this API/telemetries metrics config. The handler because it's very old handle, like because when Meshery started, it was doing this Prometheus stuff. The connections were not a thing at that time, so it probably is not like aware of the connection IDs and stuff, so it's not returning them or it's not aware of them, and that's causing the issue. So I think it's probably like if you look at
Okay, so
on the server side,
basically, I will
yeah,
find it on the server side. The
yeah,
server should be responsible for giving me this
the
connection
connection
ID.
ID, yeah, is something that
Okay.
when you generate a connection, it will give it an ID and it will create the record. And actually, there is like
Hmm.
a schema for connections. If you check, it's and these are like connection definitions. Like one is for Prometheus, one is for Kubernetes. So each
Hmm.
have that defined schema which they follow.
Okay. Okay, okay, okay. I can try with that. And that connection, once I get it from the server and I can put it on the UI side, then it should be good. So I was thinking somewhere maybe it was getting generated in between of UI and server, but it looks like it's rather the
Yeah,
server
it
who
gets
needs to
generated
generate.
on the server. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, that can help me. And apart from that, like one of the things that I want to talk about is like how do you guys plan a re-render? Like, I'm very used to using a use effect, but like I have not written JavaScript for like almost 2 years now. But basically, last I remember, the use effect was the planner for render. But for now, for example, when I say delete this, it's gonna delete, but it will stay. Again, then I'll have to click the delete, and then the state gets updated, and I get to the newer state. And or if I would have refreshed the page, then I would have gotten to this state. So what's the general
Like,
like idea of re-render here?
Sorry to
yes,
interrupt,
like
Kavit.
in
That's really a great question, but like, is it something specific to Meshery or discussing
Actually,
around
like
that? I think we
quickly,
can.
like what we do is like because all of the is directly driven by the state. So I think because these are like old class-based components, there might be a bit of mess happening with the state. That's why the re-render is not
Exactly.
happening. But otherwise, like you don't need to do any use effect or anything because as you update the state, the re-render should automatically happen. So you don't need to manually invoke the re-render or anything. It might be that the state
Okay.
is not properly in React side and it's not triggering the render. So that might because
Hmm.
I think these are the old class-based components, so there might be a
Yeah,
bit of
that's my
yeah.
biggest problem. So I'm stuck with the class component, and I can dedicate a bit of time to kind of getting this class component migrated over to a functional component with a few things fixed. I'll open a issue for it, or maybe I can open a bunch of issues and then make them all into a milestone. So the rendering of this JSON board. So now I have like two, three parts of the problem. The JSON board rendering is a server side problem. I'm gonna fix that on the server. That I can do pretty quickly, but then I can focus on the UI and the whole like experience around this whole Prometheus and all those connections. And would you guys be open to like a PR where I just move this to a functional component so I can handle renders and re-renders better?
Yeah, like if you want to migrate it, yeah, I think yeah, it should be tracked in some. There might be an open issue for like migrating it to function component.
Okay.
If you can find that and like, or if you create a new one, either way works.
Okay. So basically, the action item from my side is going to be I'll be creating a bunch of issues. I'll
Yeah.
see if I can get them incorporated into a single milestone that I can just attach to O9. Now, yeah, one question to Sangram, like, what's the timeline of O9? Like in days, weeks, or whatever we have, how much time do we actually have?
Let's just move on to the next issue here. Those things can be taken up on Slack. Yeah, if that's okay with everyone. We don't want to
Yeah,
hold up those. Those things are.
Yeah,
cool.
so
Makes
great
sense.
suggestion. Thanks a lot, Kapil and Abid as well. Yash, can you please go next?
Yeah, sure. So let me quickly share my screen. So I hope everyone can see my screen. So the context of the issue I am currently working on was displaying the connection ID in the information tab on the connections page. So it was opened by Avni long back, and
there was few contributors who tried to solve, but they faced some kind of issues with the UI. So I just quickly solved that issue. And so what happens now is currently um, uh, you guys are on playground.meshery.io, and when you head over to the connections page, and if you click on a specific connection, you see a empty space over here. If you can follow my pointer. And so what the ask was to add a connection ID over here for the specific connection. And if you see, this is the local system, like local host, and the fix was pretty simple to just add a few tags of the React and just add a connection ID on this. And
Yeah, I think we don't need to add a connection ID here. If you jump to the top of the table, because the connection ID is a primary field on the connection definition, so it's not part of the metadata. So you should be directly able to have a column for that. So if you scroll up
mhm,
and go to the columns list,
columns as in like
yeah, beside the search icon, there is like the last one, Yeah, this one. You should be able to select the connection ID from here. Like it should be available from here because it's directly a field. It should be directly ID because it's the connection table. There should be an ID field. We don't show probably by default because it doesn't make sense for users to have the ID. Like most of the time, users won't know what to do with it and they won't need it ever directly.
mhm.
Either way, it's not important to have it in the details section. Maybe just have it available in this filter.
So, like, is it like to add the additional checkbox field if the user wants connection ID or not?
Yeah, and
Okay,
by default it should be disabled. Just add like it. There should be a list of the available columns, and it should be just like adding the ID string to that list.
perfect. Okay, so I'll update the code and I'll just raise the like new commit in the PR.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yash. If you could also share your PR so that anyone who would want to take a look can go
Yeah,
and
sure.
see.
I'm quickly sharing it in chat.
Yeah, that would be great. So next, a couple of like PRs were from Lee. So if Lee were on the call, maybe he would highlight, I mean, discuss something about them, or if he wanted someone to take a look or give a review. But Lee is not able to join today, so I'll be going ahead by sharing all these PRs link. Do take a look, and if you think there could be any there is any session that you have, so feel free to drop them in the thread. We seem to missing Octo. I'm not sure if this is their real name. And so if you are on the call, we'll wait for 5 seconds for you to come up and start sharing. And looks like the same for Lawrence as well. So Lawrence is also not on the call. So that will take us to Ranit, who is on the call and I think is all ready to share his update. So Ranit, can you please now go next?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, and I think you are newcomer to the call. So welcome to the call. And the way it works is you start sharing your screen and giving context on what the issue ask was, and then how you are proposing to fix it. So you can start sharing
Okay.
screen.
Yeah, thank
Goes
you.
through.
Started sharing my screen. Sorry for the delay. Let me get it. 1 second. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, so if you're not ready, like we can circle back to you, Ranit.
No, actually, I am ready with the. Yeah, let me just open the pull request. I'm ready. Yeah, actually, go ahead.
Yeah, so like that happens, you can try again and let us know and signal when you're ready, so we can take
Yeah,
your
I will. Sorry, I'm sorry for the delay.
yeah, no issues. Next up looks like we have this update from Anuj. Anuj, like if it's not something that we did not already discuss, yeah, please go ahead and give your update.
Nothing. It's not very important. I just wanted to discuss something with Ian. I don't think he's on the call, so yeah, nothing for me.
Yeah, so yeah, Ian sent word that he would not be able to join. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'll anyway go ahead by dropping this link for anyone who would want to give some counsel on E2E testing to Anuj. The link for the PR is in chat, and that takes us to maintainer Matthew about relationship factoring tests not stored properly. Matthew, like, can you please go next?
Yes. So yeah, I just raised a pull request currently in Meshery TL. When we think about it, we are doing some unit test and integration test. So here, basically, all the tests for the relationships command was in the experimental folder, so I just moved them in the good folder, and that's it. Nothing else. And I have also updated the documentation because there were some description that was some comments that was not displayed properly in the doc. So that's it for this. Any question?
Yes, just so that Yas is on the call, or Abadi, if any one of you would like to, if you have any, offerings to give.
Yeah, actually, sorry, I was actually focusing on something else. I missed the update, but no issue. I will reach out if I have any question after checking the update.
Yeah, okay. So thanks a lot, Matthew, for your update. And then we have a couple of updates from Ria, and Ria is also on the call. Ria, would you like to walk us through? You're on mute, just in case.
Yes, so I was working on this command, model import, and for this, I have to basically fix the error logs for this, and I have fixed the error logs. Then Lee told me that I should be writing some tests, some local tests, and see if the behavior is as expected. So that's the update for today. I wrote some tests. So one is that when we export the model from registry, then it works as expected, except for that relationships are not shown here. So as you can see in the first screenshot, I hope it is visible. Okay, I think it's more clear now. So as you can see, Meshery core, this is the model. Components are being shown, and if any file is not importable, then it says that the file is not importable. Okay, I'm sorry. Here, I think I attached the wrong screenshot. I'll just show you in the terminal. I'm not able to find that right now. Maybe I'll move to next test. So here the problem is that the relationships is not being shown. So as you can see, the component is being shown, but for relationships, it's giving this error. and but the import is successful, like all the relationships are being pushed to registry. So this is another problem that I need to fix here. The next is that when the user is using any compression on any compression algorithm on the exported model, it is again causing an error. So it says that this file is not importable. Yeah, so like I told you before, that if any file is not importable, it would be shown as that the file is not importable. So this is a problem again, that the if a user tries to compress, it would cause a problem. And if user modifies a tar file, then they'll have to modify manifest file as well as the checksum file. So and then if they try to compress the file again so that they can import it, it again causes an error. So these are some tests that I was working on. And I also had a doubt that when we okay, first, if anyone has a feedback on all these tests.
So for like the first two issues, like it's mostly about like displaying the like information, not like anything with the logic or generation or registration, like the one with registry, sorry, relationships. Like it's just the message not getting properly displayed right now. Some error there.
Yes, exactly. The error is probably like the error is there. All the logs are there, but it's not being shown. So that's the only problem. Yeah.
And another issue is with compression. So we're not supporting like importing right now compressed files. So by default, like when we export an OCI, how do we export, like directly a tar file or tar or GZ?
Yeah, tar file, tar file.
Okay, so that would work for now, but if somebody has a compressed version, it won't work. So yeah.
No, not compressive. If someone tries to compress that file, like for example, it's tar, and they try to compress it to tar.zip or tar, they convert tar to zip, something like that, it won't work.
So like, okay, oh sorry, I was actually I was reading the wrong thing here. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, and then the doubt that I had is that how do I get the URL and the OCI images of the models? So right now what I was doing is going to the registry and then downloading the file from there, but it's only getting downloaded in one format, which is tar. And I cannot even change the format. Once I change the format, this error is being shown. So I don't understand, like how do I check for URL, or how for OCI images it's not supported yet, so that's fine, that's something to implement. But how do I check for URL or any other compression versions, like .zip or .tar.zip?
Like I think, like why do you need something special for like compressed version? Like why can't you just take the model folder and compress it like directly?
Take the model, but where do we get the model? I think we get the model from registry, right? We go to the registry and we download it from there.
Yeah, like you can either download it from there, or you can also take directly from the like for testing, you can also take it from the file system. Like take a model, like inside the mesh model server/mesh model, there are all of these models are there. So you can take any folder from there and use it also for testing directly.
All right, but the problem is that if I take any folder and if I compress it, then it's not working. Like it's showing file not importable.
I think the issue is directly trying to like import the compressor. It's not like uncompressing it. I think that's the issue there. Because
Oh.
after it uncompresses, it shouldn't have, like it should directly goes through the directly. Like you should just invoke the direct logic. Like I think it's just treating it as a file, not like as a compressed version and then uncompressing and flattening it.
All right, yeah, got it. And the other item that I was working on is fixing the UI logs. So not very major update on that. But I'm just checking. So I changed the logic here. If the entity is a model, um, if the entity is a model, then we would just return the error message. And if entity is not a model, then it's a file that is not importable.
How are you checking like if an entity is a model?
Yeah, if it is a zip file, a tar file, or all these compressed versions, or it's a OCI image. OCI is still not supported, but it would be in the future.
Like if you, I think there's something weirdness with this. Like, why do we need to do this on UI? Like these checks.
Because in the UI, if I show you just a second. If we see over here, um, so like this is being shown in this way. Like if the file is not importable, like for example, this file is not importable, it should be just shown that this file is not importable. All this is not needed, like the details and stuff. This thing is not needed. And if it is a model, then we need these all these details as well. So that's why I'll have to use that.
I think we should just like have the summary should be like which things got imported, and then the errors like should be directly like from like when you are sending the log, like all of the processing of the errors and how you are formatting it should be more or less should be like directly done from the server when you are generating the log, like what are the details and what sections are inside this log, like which errors are there should be directly from the server. And on UI you should then like mostly just it would be a loop or that message from the server, so you don't need to like do any like formatting much of formatting on the UI, like what is an error for model, what's an error for, because on the backend you already know like which file was like messy or which file was skipped, so you can just directly take those and put them inside that list and send that to UI as log, like these files were skipped and these are the errors in the when you were trying to process the model, or these are the models that got generated and these were the components inside that model.
But aren't the messages right over here? Like, if we see the messages are written over here, import process for this file, it's not coming from the server, it's written on the UI.
Yeah, I think this might be the issue from the previous contributor. He might have just hard coded the
Yeah,
errors there, but these should be coming like when you are sending the event from the backend, like you are generating that meshkit error and it gets sent as an event. And so inside that error, you should put all of the required information directly. And here you should just like more or less just formatting that information, like looping word it or like taking the properties from it, but not like defining it here or checking anything like right now we're doing.
all right. If you remember the some folder which I can look into for the thing that you are saying that I have to make changes in server, can you please point me to that?
Actually, I don't remember like why it's, but like when you are like generating the like importing the model, there should be some, I think, an error builder there, like where we are putting like generating the error and building on the fly. And just that gets sent over as an event after it's done.
Okay.
So check for like any meshkit errors that we're building during the process. That's where this actually comes from.
Okay, I got you. Right.
Like here is import process for this. You are mentioning this is shown in notification center, right? This particular
Yes, exactly.
content. Okay. Can you raise a issue that this message shouldn't be from the UI side? So
Yeah, sure.
this is a hard code.
So thank you, Ria. Like, do you have anything else that you want to share? Oh, yeah.
No, thank you.
Next up, Yash Sharma, like, can you please go next and share your updates?
Sure. Just a second. Share my screen. Okay, hopefully my screen is visible now. So I have two small updates. One is adding the org schema in schema repo. So it's actually I just simply added the org schema in the schemas repo and auto-generated some structs. The reason I was doing this is because in local provider, org is missing being schema driven. And the purpose is just to provide the schemas over here so that org can be in Meshery, the org struct can be updated to the V1 V1 version. And there is a PR for having a supporting a command to retrieve the current orgs through the Meshery CTL. So it's just hold on that so that we can be schema driven. So to ensure that, I just quickly created a PR and merged it. And I will now work on making sure migrating to the V1 V1 V1
Yeah.
struct.
Can you for a moment share the schema that we have for organizations now?
So these are the structs. We are in this schema. I haven't added the the API paths, but yes.
So we had defined it as an open API schema. Like, were you able to generate the structs properly, like directly from here? But
Yeah.
last time I tried, there was some issues with like if you the one thing like put that flow to the README of this. I think there is no flow in the README, so it would.
Yeah, actually, I think Uzair was, I think he raised a PR, that PR is closed from him. There was some updated like request by Lee. I will like work on the documentation. It requires a proper documentation. Yeah, definitely it sucks. So I'll do that. Let me know if you have any other questions on that.
No, actually, yeah, one question like, why did we define this one as like open app? Because I think other ones are defined directly as a JSON v5 or v4. I think the ones inside the directly inside the constructs.
So yeah, no, actually, the thing is, we migrated. We used to have the long standing file in our cloud. So what we did is like we split it up and added a open API schema. So there is kind of a little conflict between JSON and YAML. So we support most of our struct in YAML file, but some components and connections kind of struct in JSON. So Uzair, I think, created a command which resolved the conflict, and we can so that we can reuse the component .json or YAML, and then we can generate the structs. But still, yeah, for some components we are using JSONs, and mainly for API components we are using YAML. I think it is just because it was previously written. It was a quick work instead of migrating them all to the YAML or either way to the JSON.
Like, are we tracking the versions for these and like the one you defined for organization? Does it have a version? Like, what version of the schema is?
No, actually, it doesn't. It is just a simple open API schema that we have currently in our, cloud right now. So it is not tracking version, not in the schema repo itself.
Like, does it support like OpenAPI having a version for the schema? Because otherwise, we would like if we updated the schema for organization in future, then we'd have issues like we can't have another version of it if we don't support versioning of the schemas like we did
Yeah.
for the JSON schemas. We have a version for each of those.
So I know actually we are not tracking it here over here. Open API do have their own version right over here, but we are not tracking it from our side. This is the Open API version, and the way we are tracking is when we generate the struct from the YAML file, we generate in which version we want to generate. So V1 Vita 1 and V1 Alpha 3 that way. So we are not tracking in the file over here, but after generate, yeah, we are doing it here.
So I think
So-
we'd need to like probably make some changes there, like for the OpenAPI ones to support versioning directly. So then we'd be actually able to migrate the JSON on. Either way, we should be consistent with one, like either JSON or OpenAPI.
I do agree. Yeah. Maybe I'll create a issue so that we can discuss it further. The second was is on the for fixing a search issue in the registry. So registry was lacking. There are some issues right now in the registry, and one is with the search. Search was not working. Search was working, but there was issue with event are getting mixed up. So it was a quick fix by just making sure that search works properly. So it's a simple state update which fixes the search in the model and the component. I'm still working on the relationship. I think I'm not sure, but I think search for relationship is not supported by the server itself. So I have to look if it is supported by the server or not first. So for the model and component it should work fine. There is one more issue with the component, which is like when you search in the component, it will call the all components from the server. So that issue need to be fixed. And I'm looking for better fix by making sure, because in registry, the main actual issue is state update. So better state management is needed inside the registry. So we'll discuss it further too. But for this issue, it is now fixed. Let me know if anyone have any questions. Yeah, so that's all from my side. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Abid, for the feedback.
So thank you, Abid and Yash. Next up, Sudhanshu is also on the call, and Sudhanshu, do you want to talk about it?
Like no, we can skip it actually. Basically, this is one of the migration. So we talked. So that is one of the work for that. So yeah, we don't need any demo. It's been already been worked and watched. So we
I
can
think
skip
Amit is
to
also
the
working on
issues.
it. So like, anything that could be helpful to him, or like how much is left, or any guidance to him, anything around that if you want to talk about.
Yeah, so from Meshery UI side, like all like, except that RGSF components we talked at the early of the meeting. So that is left, and most of the work is also like last leftovers were done by Amit and I think by so few files. But yeah, like it's like for the Meshery UI we are like almost completed except the RGSF components. Yeah. But yeah, so that will be also done. So probably this week the Meshery UI will be finished.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, Sudhanshu. And next up, like we have an array of PRs from Amit. And Amit, would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, so what I discussed on the standing agenda that about the status of the migration. So these are the PR of that migration. So nothing more specifically, but these are some PR I created for migrating to MVI version 4 to version 5.
Amit,
All right. So
are these merged already, or like are they still open?
Yeah, they are merged.
And we already made a mesh release, right?
For some of me merge and release, but for some of not.
Okay. Like in case, like as you migrate, like did you check like the previous tests, are they still passing? Like in case maybe some ideas got messed up or anything, like did you check are the tests working still in Meshery UI?
Yeah, so before I started working on the migration, there are the 4 tests already failed, and
I think 20 were passing previously, I think. All right.
yeah, but like from the 5 days ago, the 4 tests are failing, and yeah, not more than not because of my PR, any new test cases are failing.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, fine.
Currently, there are 4 test cases are failing on the
I think
Messenger.
they are related to adapters and stuff. So yeah, we don't need to worry about them.
That is all of it.
yeah, thank you, Amit. So anyone who would like to take a look at how the UI is migrated and would like to contribute into this area, so I have shared the PRs link in chat. Next up, we will be having this update from Ijoma on Helm Canvas plugin. So Ijoma, can you please share this update?
Yeah, sure. Um, so the plugin is working already, and I'm just trying to share my screen. And then I had a discussion with Lee. We needed to upload the Helm plugin on Artifact Hub. So he asked that I first of all test it out with my personal account and see if it works, which it did. And now this is it here. I had a PR to like an open PR to like update the README, because that's what the Artifact Hub is going take out and display in the description here, and it's still opened. I don't know if he left a couple of review which I attended to, so I haven't heard back from him. And then yeah, the artifact the plugin was uploaded on Artifact Hub, but this is my personal account, so I need to take this down. I don't know, like, if I don't have the credentials for the official Meshery Artifact Hub. So yeah, once he responds and we are able to upload it on Meshery, yeah, I'm gonna take this down. So I don't know if he's currently around or something. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
so like
update.
the things like it works then, like, so we just need to now swap the accounts
Yeah,
probably.
you mean, can I post how it works? I didn't get.
Sorry, I think got cut off.
I didn't hear you, Abid. Can you repeat what you said earlier?
Yeah, I was saying just like, so this works now, like pushing it to Artifact Hub and like the install also, okay, if you have checked. So yeah, so I was just saying like, so we just need to change the accounts probably and
Yeah, that's what we
it
need
comes
to
back.
do.
Can you share like
Yeah.
how, what's the process for installing the plugin?
Okay, so to install the plugin, all you just need to do is you need to have Helm, and then install it using like this command, right? Helm plugin,
Yeah,
install the repo for the Helm plugin, but because this is my forked repo,
yeah.
that's why it is. And then the instructions on testing like all the plugins in the README, right? And you just have to pass in the valid Helm chat, and then you get a snapshot of your plugin. So for now, this works. I think the first part works, apart from the email sending of the plugin to the email, which yeah, there's still like a bit of back and forth on that, but like the V1 works well.
Okay, so like
For
in the V1 we don't support like sending email right now, right?
yeah.
Like, did you talk with Pranav about it? Like, is he working on it, or are you planning to do that?
We are going to work on it. So I currently did some things right on Meshery Cloud right last year,
Yeah.
but I went off for a while because like I had a lot, and then I don't know if that PR was merged. I really can't access the account anymore, but if it's merged, this should work. Like sending of this should work, but I don't know if it's merged. I really don't know the update. I think I once asked and I didn't get a reply like twice or so. So yeah, the next stage I didn't want to spend so much time making like getting that merged or anything. I wanted to like focus. I am Pranav wanted to focus on just getting this to work
Yeah.
and pushing out the V1. So yeah, so once this is uploaded on Artifact, we can keep building up on this, and we can add the email functionality to this.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Like, wait, by any chance, did you add like this Helm Canvas snapshot to any of those awesome repos? Maybe like,
Yeah,
yeah, I think
so
once we
I'm
get the package out.
yeah, so I was building the list of such repos and I'll start adding them today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all for me for now.
Joma, like
Yeah,
it would
thanks.
be a good suggestion, or like something like we could have a blog either in Layer 5 or Meshi.io for this snapshot, basically, like kind of a proper example. So
Oh, okay. So
as
you
it
asked,
after it's been published to Artifact. So
okay.
yeah.
So thank you, Yoma, for your update. And so time, and I'll leave you all with sharing the meeting calendar. So like, and tomorrow too, we will be having a newcomers meeting if you want to take at the various areas in which you can contribute. And so this calendar has all the meeting minutes like these, and also where they are held, like Zoom link, and also the YouTube playlist where you can find the recorded session. Unfortunately, we were not able to live stream this particular call, but you will find the meeting minutes and later, like a recorded upload. I will upload the recorded, meeting also. So hopefully, you will be able to catch up with the updates that we discussed. With that, I thank you all, and yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday. Till then, bye.
Bye.